Hello everybody, it's the Rolling Radish back with another video, and today we've got the full guide on how to get Zenith in Terraria. But just before we start, I've got a couple things to say. First of all, I'm using Tmod Loader because and some of the parts to get Zenith aren't available in Tmod Loader, as in like the Shimmer version of Zenith, because that's 1.4.5 and Tmod Loader is 1.4.4. And I've switched to Terraria for my YouTube channel because I've just recently been playing it with the Playful Pixel, and it's one of my new favourite games. I've got most of the achievements and I'm going for 100%. And finally, last thing before we start, actually no, not last thing, sorry I haven't made a full long form video for ages. This is the first time I've done one in a while. I've had this ready for a week or so, but I completely forgot about it, so sorry about that. And for some of the parts of this, it comes from mob drops, but obviously I can't really show mobs very well because they despawn. So yeah, but anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video. As you can see here, to start off the Zenith, you'll need 30 of either of your evil ores from your world, which can be obtained from mining them in the underground or from the Eye of Cthulhu or either of the evil bosses. Then in any furnace on any anvil you use 10 bars. No, in any furnace you use 30 of the ores to craft 10 bars, and then with those 10 bars in any anvil you craft either the Light's Bane or the Blood Butcherer, I think. And then for the next one, it's the volcano. So to get the volcano, you need 20 obsidian, which you can get by combining water and lava. Then you need 60 hellstone, which you can get from the underworld. But be careful when you're doing that, as sometimes in the underworld when you break hellstone it spawns lava, so you probably want something to defend against lava. And then so you use 20 obsidian and 60 hellstone to craft, I can't remember how many hellstone bars, I forgot to put it here. And then an anvil you can craft the volcano. Judging by the numbers, I'm guessing it's probably 20 hellstone bars. I'm not really sure though, maybe less, maybe 10. Then for the next one, which is the Muramasa, you first of all you need to kill Skeletron, as you can see by this trophy. And then you need to head into the dungeon and killing any of the enemies there, which are represented by these bones. You can get a golden key to unlock golden chests, which have a chance to contain the Muramasa. Then for the next one, this one's probably one of the harder ones. So it's a blade of grass, and to get it you need 12 stingers, which either come from hornets or jungle slimes, 15 jungle spores, which you can find in the jungle caves. They're like little plants that grow, and 3 vines, which you can get from man-eaters. So if you come down here, you can combine all them at an altar to make the Knight's Edge. And then, so let me just travel real quick. Sorry about that. With 20 of each soul from the mechanical bosses at one of the hard mode anvils, you can craft the true Knight's Edge, as shown here. And then next is the Broken Hero Sword. As you can see here, it's quite small. And basically you obtain this from killing Mothron, who spawns in a solar eclipse. And to craft the solar tablet you need 8 of these solar fragments at any hard mode anvil. You could get these solar fragments from chests in Golem's temple, I think it is. And then for the next part you need the true Excalibur here, and to get that it's crafted with 12 hallowed bars, which you can get from any of the mech bosses to craft the Excalibur. And then you need 120 chlorophyte ore, which can be mined in the jungle. And then at one of the hard mode forges you can craft it into 24 hard mode chlorophyte bars, and once you craft them together you get the true Excalibur. Let me just do this quickly. And then any anvil you can craft the true Excalibur and the Knight's Edge together to make the Terror Blade. And then next of all, for the next part, So you'll need to kill Plantera to get the Seedler sword. You need to kill the pumpkin on the 15th wave of I can't remember what it's called. I think it's the Pumpkin Moon to get the Horseman's Blade. You need to kill a Martian saucer in the Martian invasion like thingamabob. Can't remember what it's called. And you have a chance to get the Influx Weaver. Let me check real quick. Influx Waver. Okay, and then from Moonlord, you have a chance to get the, let me just check, the Star Wrath or the Mjolnir, which they're pretty common. I think they're about a 20% chance, so these should be easy to get, especially if you've got endgame armor. And then for the next, you need to kill Queen Bee with the chance to get, what's it called, the Beekeeper, I think it is. And then you need to find a sword shrine somewhere underground to get the enchanted sword. I'm not too sure about this step. I have done it before, but I can't really remember. And then here you need the Star Fury. Yes, Star Fury from a Sky Island chest, which Sky Islands you can find in the sky. I'm not sure if I've got any on this world. Yeah, I can't seem to see any here. And then finally you need the copper short sword here, which you can obtain from mining 15 copper and then in any furnace you smelt it to make 5 copper bars, and then an anvil you can then craft the copper sword, or you can get it as a part of your starting gear shown by this guide here. And then finally at any anvil you can craft the Zenith, and in 1.4.5 you can shimmer the Zenith to get the true copper short sword, and I'm pretty sure if you shimmer the true copper short sword you then get the parts, to make the Zenith. So yeah, overall this is probably one of the hardest crafting trees in Terraria. I'd highly recommend you try and do this as you go if you're a melee class, and try and get these swords early even if you're not going to use them, because if you've killed the wall of flesh and you're still in hell, why not go get the volcano, and it'll just make it generally a lot easier. And then yeah, I also recommend you try and get some of these pre-hard mode, like the Blade of Grass, as hard mode jungle's quite hard if you've just transitioned into hard mode. So it's a lot easier to just get the Blade of Grass quickly. But you'll probably already have it, because the Knight's Edge is a good sword in pre-hard mode. And then other than that, I don't really have any other tips and tricks. The only thing I could say is if you're struggling to find a certain sword, or maybe the enchanted sword, create a small world and just dig about for a bit and look for one, or there's probably some in-depth guide out there about how to get one, but I don't really know that much about this, so sorry about that. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want any other in-depth guides to Terraria items or crafting trees, like for instance maybe the Terraspark boots, because as shown here, because they are quite hard to craft, then please leave your comment down below, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.